And hello, everybody. It is Monday night and it is time to go live. And I'm wondering why this lighting is so terrible in here right now. No, leave it alone. There we go. Well, it's not that great, but it is what it is, and we're staying live. So, what's going on, everybody? Again, slow momentum, you are turd or third. RV traveling MIA researcher, welcome in. Weekend RVing, welcome in. And let's see, Slow Mo, you're here. New Vision Security, yo, what's up? And Thin Blue Lane, RV Life, you're in too. So welcome, William Dixon and Beyond Beauty 3. It's great to have you. And Lori Hackett just joined us. So that brings our count up to a whopping 6. And here we are. We're going to see who shows up and have a little discussion on YouTube and what that means for a lot of us in the, we'll call it, in the upcoming post-COVID era. And Thinwoods RV Life, I'm assuming that's Corey, since Lori's already in. Welcome. And it's good to have you in the live stream tonight. Well, that got a little bit better. So yeah, what prompted me for this topic was the fact that I was listening to talk radio today, and they were talking about kind of moving into the post-COVID era. Not that we're there yet, but in that we need to prepare for what that's going to look like. Wondering, Willie, welcome in, Wiley, welcome in. Nick Campbell, welcome in. And so we're in this era where we need to start thinking about what life is going to look like beyond COVID as we know it. So anyway, they were talking about, hey, hold on one sec. You might want to open that window. We have a tri-tip cooking on the Blackstone right now. And let me tell you something, it smells so good. And hold on, Levi wants to say hello. Say hi. Say hi to everybody. My ratings go up whenever he shows up on the show. Can you wave? Can you wave at everybody? I know you know how to say hi. Hi. And there's our wave. All right. So anyway, let's get back to this discussion. And if anybody wants to, this is the COVID hairdo, meaning Jerry needs a haircut really bad. You gonna give that back to Papa so he looks good for the people? Nope. Nope. Okay. I'll put this one on. Papa, put this one on. Okay. There we go. Who came in? Our Epic RV Adventure, welcome in. Good to have you. So anyway, as we're talking about moving into this post-COVID era, the big discussion was about what the internet's going to look like post-COVID, since now, everybody has been or is becoming reliant on the internet. And here we are, New Horizons, welcome in. Looks like an RV Kids TV raid. We'll see how that works out. Blue Wave Odyssey, welcome in. But anyway, I got to thinking, they're absolutely right. We're using the internet at a higher level than we probably ever have in the history of our lives. And we're seeing schools being conducted over the internet, businesses becoming more prevalent so far as meetings done on the internet. Artists are being on the road. Welcome in. Happy Place Camping. Welcome in. What we're talking about tonight is the post-COVID era and what the internet's going to look like and how that's going to affect YouTube. And I think we're already seeing the impact now because there's a lot more teachers using the internet, Zoom meetings and other platforms. Full-time Dream, hello. And so a lot more is being done over the internet. Well, the point of discussion that I was listening in this talk show today was the fact that Johnny's Journey, welcome in, that with the usage of the internet growing in leaps and bounds, which one do I get? I mean, this little guy right here, he might not even know what a schoolhouse looks like in the future because of all of this. So, we'll have to see how that goes. But what they're saying is because of the internet essentially exploding as it has over the last month. What do I do after this? Flip it. Hold on, folks. Flip it and then set a timer for 35 minutes. On the same heat? Yeah, no, put it on to low. And of course, my phone starts blowing up. So anyway, you go down. I need to concentrate here for a few minutes. What they're saying is that this is going to beyond the internet. What this is going to be, what this is going to really affect is politics in the future, and how the internet is going to play a bigger role in political campaigning, meaning that right now there's a big argument, and I know it's an argument here in Oregon, that the internet is not accessible to everyone, which I would disagree with. I think, the internet is everywhere, and somebody could go to a local library when libraries open up again, and all of that. And what we've seen with the schools is that those that didn't have access to laptops and stuff were given laptops by the schools. So now they all have access. Now what they need is that connectivity. So I don't have the, hey, Captain Jack Scrapper, welcome in. I don't have the answer here, and that's why this would be a good discussion. But what does that look like for YouTube in the future? Growth of channels. What does that look like for those that are monetized and advertising? What does that look like for bandwidth? What does this look like across the board? And I will. I'm going to do this. I'm going to invite anybody to come in, and if you have an opinion, come on in and let us chat about this, because I thought it was really interesting that it became a discussion point today, as I think businesses and the like are starting to prepare for post COVID life, whatever that looks like, and I don't know what that looks like, and I'm certainly not advocating one way or the other, of what if businesses should open tomorrow. I don't know. I certainly don't have the answer. I have an opinion, and I'd be glad to share that. But every time I give my opinion, I lose subscribers. So I'm going to keep my opinion to myself tonight. So, if anybody wants to pop in, you're right, Wandering. The internet sucks because I think the internet companies, the service providers, I don't know that they're ready for, try to get on during the day when, and school officially started again in Oregon today, online. So I noticed that there was a drain earlier because everybody's getting on and trying to figure out what that's supposed to look like. How do the kids log in? How do they, so I think there's going to be some bandwidth issues here. And, I uploaded a video today. And that's why I noticed the slowdown. It didn't take that long, even for a half hour, 28-minute video. But I did notice that there was a ramping down of, where that used to just boom, it used to just slide through. And we've got some really fast internet here. But I did notice that it did ramp down a little bit. So what do you guys think this is going to look like? How do you think the internet's going to react? Because I got a hunch that what a lot of people have noticed over the last 3, 4, 5 weeks is that there are a lot of jobs that can be done from home. And I think that they are going to be done from home. I think go sing with Nana. Go sing with Nana. I think that, hold on, let me open this door. I think that a lot of these businesses are going to be affected. And I know friends of mine that are in business that have brick and mortar storefronts or office space that they're not going back. They're just not going to pay rent anymore when they can effectively do the same exact thing from home. And while it was nice to have that storefront, there's certain businesses that lend themselves good to absolute internet based and going out and making business calls, kind of like they used to in the old days. And their businesses are certainly affected by this. Now they've been affected on the front end with loss of revenue and things of that nature. But now that they're planning for post-COVID, I think, hey, the Haley family's in. Good to see you. I think they're going to start thinking twice about paying rent and recouping some of the lost revenue. So what's that look like for YouTube? What's that look like for you and me as content creators? We've seen content creators that have gone to different schedules, or if they didn't have a whole lot of content that they were in the works, they're dropping into different ways that they can communicate with their subscriber base and their non-subscriber base. So what's that look like? Anybody drop that in and we'll have some discussion. Was Wags in? I didn't see him pop in. But if they're in, I'd like to say hello. Did they pop in incognito? Anyway, RV Kids TV, welcome in. I did see a raid from you, but did not see you pop in. And who else popped in without me noticing? Fifth Wheel and Food and Fiction, good to see you. Welcome in on this beautiful Monday evening here in the Pacific Northwest. Absolutely gorgeous out here. I see, Endless RVing is in. Welcome in. That's got to be MJ. Hopefully Izzy's looking in every once in a while. And, like I said, I don't think anybody is going to walk away from this unscathed. I am fortunate that I'm retired and everything up to this point is pretty much, business as usual. Has it affected? Um, has it affected us? Um, as a YouTube channel, not quite yet because our content is such that we can uh, do RV related stuff, camping and whatnot, and we could do RV related stuff, not camping. And in Johnny's journeys, I think healthcare is going to be something that's going to be very different. And it depends on what you're used to, I guess. Um, my primary care is through the VA. I have seen absolutely no drop in my level of care, my service. My doctor actually sent me an email asking if I'm okay. And they've done what most hospitals have done and most clinics is ask that you don't come unless you need to. Um, so, and moving forward, that's not really going to change the way that that happens. But I absolutely agree. And for those of you that may not have seen the comment, I think you're absolutely right. There will be a new norm. My daughter is a MA, a medical assistant in a pediatric clinic through the Providence Healthcare Network. And I don't know if that's nationwide. I know that it is up and down the West Coast. And, they're already adapting to new norms and what that looks like with them. And I'll go ahead and bring in my sidekick, Michael from our Epic RV Adventure.
Oh, hey.
I think he's just becoming a regular program. And at some point, him and I are just going to have to decide whether we're just going to combine our channels and go from there. But welcome. Hold on, my dogs are going nuts.
Well, they love me. The dogs love me. I was always a hit with the dogs.
Hey, I do not hear you. Let me turn you up here.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you. So what's up?
Nothing.
What do you think? What's your take?
First of all, thanks
norm?
everybody for the well wishes. I'm not on my deathbed or anything. I'm just not being. It's just not a good day, and I don't feel well. That's all. But thanks for the concern. I saw in the Shelly saw in the chat. I can't actually read the chat; it's too blurry. But I did. I was listening to what you were saying, and yeah, I'm with you. My biggest problem, really, with everything going on right now is this is empty.
Okay.
It's empty.
All right. Prepare to hit the unsubscribe button because that is my least favorite cookie on the entire planet.
Are you serious?
I am absolutely serious.
I think you just lost 40 subscribers right there.
I probably did. And you know what? At this point, I lost 2 this morning. So
yeah,
what does it matter?
Yeah. But to get on topic, and I apologize, Barry, but to not for the Oreos, but for getting off topic a little bit. Yeah, the internet. I've been a remote worker for quite a number of years. I know Blue Wave Bob does a lot of remote work in his line of work as well. And what we're seeing right now, is unprecedented for many things, right? The bandwidth utilization that the internet's going through is really amazing. And, in this country, especially, bandwidth is a lot more expensive than it is in other countries. Internet access, blazing fast internet access is pretty cheap everywhere but here. And the reason for that is competition. There is no competition here because of the what is it called again? But basically, each company has a monopoly in the little areas, legal monopoly, so they don't have to compete. You go to Europe, for instance. This is a European country, you could have Spectrum. Your next door neighbor could have CenturyLink. Your next door neighbor to him could have Time Warner or Verizon or whoever. But here, you're kind of stuck. You either got the cable company, or if you're lucky in some places, you got Verizon, FiOS, or you got DSL, which actually sucks no matter where you're at. So you don't have a lot of choices. So that may go away because the bandwidth is cheap. It just is. I mean, that's the line of work I'm in. I work in IT. The bandwidth is cheap. It's just just the way things are working here. But I think what we're going to see is a lot of people who. This is going to be a shift in businesses, in a business model, right? Because a lot of people said, no, you can't work from home. No, you can't work from home. We need you in the office. Well, now those same businesses are finding out, you know what? These people can work from home and perform well. We're actually maybe even getting more productivity out of them. And on top of that, we're not paying the overhead of a building and HVAC and the insurance and everything else. Like I worked for Cisco a few years ago, and here in North Carolina, Cisco has it's their East Coast campus. It's a little bit smaller than their San Jose campus in California, but it was still like 10 or 15 buildings. I mean, huge multi-story buildings.
Right.
They've gotten rid of at least half of them because they've gone to telework, and so that physical expense isn't there anymore. And I think that's just going to keep going. But so that's a good thing, right? Because it allows more people to work from home. And for the people who've never worked from home before, it's actually harder than it sounds. Yes, I'm not wearing a suit and tie every day, and I may or may not be wearing pants, but it's still pretty difficult. But the other side of that coin is what we're going to see is who survives this from a business standpoint. And unfortunately, it's not going to be mom and pop. Mom and pop doesn't have the resources to survive. Yes, there's small business administration loans and things like that may help them keep afloat, but it also may be the death knell in their coffin because a lot of these people are barely making it now before this happened, and they're not going to be able to pay the loans off. So unless the loans are forgiven, which they might be, they probably will be, they're just going to die. The business is going to die. And so then who's going to take that? Who's going to fill that place? Well, there's where your chain restaurants, your chain stores, et cetera. Amazon's probably making a mint right now because everybody closed. Walmart's model is really shifting hard to online and, pickup, which again, that's cheaper for them as well. And Blue Wave, I can barely read what he says. You had to be disciplined to work from home. You do, because there's too many distractions at home, and plus you also got to be disciplined enough to know when work is over. And that's where the companies really make do or make out with the teleworkers. It's because it's 5:00, it's quitting time. Well, at 5:30, I'm getting an email because I'm still doing something on my computer or whatever. I see the email, I'm going to start working on it. So
yeah.
That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
No, I can't disagree with you. I think the small businesses, in order for them to survive, we need to get busy taking care of them now.
Right now,
because if we wait, and I really don't want to get into the political side of this, but the governors of Washington, California, and Oregon met today and made this great big announcement that said that we will open up our states when we are ready to open up, not when the Fed decides. And of course, it's a reaction to we hate Trump, because the West Coast is.
And it is pretty grandstanding too, in a way, because the federal government doesn't have the authority to dictate that to the states, and no matter who the president is or who the governor is or their party affiliation, that's a governor. We are the United States of America, not United America of states. We are the United States of America, and so if you read the Constitution, the powers with the governor to do what's going on right now. So when the people are complaining that the president isn't doing all this stuff, he can't. It's the governors. It's their responsibility to take care of their people. It's not the federal government's.
Right.
And so for them to stand up and say, hey, we're going to open when we say we are, well, they're right. And so is everybody else, because that's what they're doing.
Well, absolutely. It
But it sounds great. It's a good soundbite.
Yeah, except for the fact that they're probably on a farther timeline.
Probably.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're probably saying, yeah. Hold on, folks. I got to say goodbye to Levi. Hold on. Mike,
Bye,
talk
Levi.
for a second.
Bye, Levi. So, yeah, I mean, and again, this has nothing to do with what political party's in power, because it'd be the same either way. Democrat, Republican, that's just the way the system works, folks.
Right.
And
right.
The powers with the state government, the power, if you're complaining about your money or not getting money or the stimulus package, that's Congress. That's not the president. Congress creates the bills to do the spending. The president can either veto it or sign it, and that's it. So if you don't like what's going on, get rid of Congress, because they're the ones who are causing the problem.
All right.
If you like what's going on, there you go.
All right, I just lost somebody. So before we lose people,
let me check my subscription level real quick.
Like I said, I'm trying not to get political.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to do is come up with some sort of understanding, because I'm not going to be the one that fixes the internet. I'm going to continue to pay my bill and to go from there. So, would better internet choice fix the internet? Yes. Is Trump or Biden or Bernie or any of those going to do it? No, they don't have that. They don't have that ability. What I'm afraid of, I'm going to bring Corey in here with us. But let me finish this thought. What I'm afraid of is that these small businesses are going to just die on the vine because of a lack of movement. Because of a lack of movement at the state level. And I think that.
Jerry, you just muted yourself, buddy. You're muted. You muted yourself on your own channel. You're muted.
I'm not muted now.
Yeah, now you're not.
Was I took my earbuds off so that I can actually hear, and I muted myself.
I was like, you guys are pretty strong moderators there to be muting the host.
Yeah. So what I'm afraid of is that these small businesses are going to die on the vine because we're afraid to open up and allow people to have human contact again. And, everybody's been affected. I sympathize. I have lots of empathy for all of that. But at what cost do we completely destroy our economy? And what, here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few small business owners within our community, and MJ's certainly one of them. And she had a number of employees that she had to lay off. I mean, and she she, just like many other small business, they don't have the capital resources to just take a tax hit. I mean, not really take a tax hit, but just take a small hit real quick and then be, all happy and good on the other end.
Hi, guys.
Tax write-off. Hey, Corey.
So here we got two IT guys that probably know more about the internet than I'll ever know. They can actually write books about what I don't know about the internet and how that and beyond small business. And again, MJ, I'm sorry that there's a huge loss of revenue, and where is that going to come from on the back end of this? Because is the federal government going to be able to bail everybody out? I just don't think so. And the states are not willing to do it. The states, Oregon, we're bankrupt. And so if there's a small business in Oregon waiting on the Oregon government to do anything for them, they're going to be applying at McDonald's, and And McDonald's kind of solved that solution with the kiosks. So, you know, I think we're in for a world of hurt with a lot of business, especially small business. Um, being effective. But what I really want to focus the attention on is what is the internet going to look like? Because we are content creators, and mostly we'll do it this way. We're not going to do a Bobism, but if you are not a content creator, uh, type I am and see how many I am we have in the room, because um, not a whole lot. And so we as content creators and users of the YouTube platform, what does that look like? I saw it yesterday, um, and I'm involved with a ton of Zoom meetings now. Well, Zoom actually has a way that you can go live on Zoom and broadcast it directly to YouTube now. And I don't know if that's new, but it's new to me. And I know that they announced it yesterday for everybody that is on that platform. So, what does that mean? Is there going to be another YouTube, or are there going to be more platforms out there for people to have access to content? Craig, no, Bob. I don't want to. I don't want to do a Bobism. I am.
Well, I tell you, from a federal government
I think,
perspective,
kind of let me jump in here. We've been really on the
Go ahead, Craig.
you just shush me.
You gotta have a
I
raise
didn't
your hand
know.
button.
We've been really been where I work. For those that don't know, I work in mental health, which here in Michigan is a local government agency, and we've really been on the cutting edge of going this way for quite some time. For over 10 years we've been looking at working at putting therapists in the field working remotely. We were the first to get accreditation in the state of Michigan for telepsychiatry. So we've been going this route for quite some time, and even we really struggled because we still had about 300 employees. We had to shift from the office to working from home, including secretaries and everything that we would have never imagined, ever having to do until this hit. And luckily we were ahead of the game compared to a lot of places. And I think, just like Michael said, it's going to be the little guy that's going to get the big hit here. And if they don't evolve with the times or have the means to evolve with the times, they're going to be hurting.
Yeah, so see that comment that artist on the road put up there. Is YouTube sitting back in YouTube World Headquarters, preparing for the next evolution of YouTube? What do we think that looks like?
Well, I mean, the big shift has been already starting to happen over the last few years. Look where YouTube has really evolved over the past 5 years. It has gone from just little tidbits people were uploading to really starting to become an entertainment platform over the last few years on people actually creating watchable, bingeable content, becoming shows. And of course, there's going to be more third-party people that's going to try to leverage that. You're going to see more stuff with Amazon getting into the video market probably at some point in time. They're already with the AWS services offering a lot of stuff for businesses right now. With virtual servers and virtual desktops and things of that nature. And I see Amazon really jumping into a market. I mean, Google and Amazon are the big players right here in this, and they have the most technology to try to provide services to the smaller guy.
Yeah, I saw Amazon has a huge facility in the town I live in. In fact, it became the biggest employer in our town, and they're building another one. Well, they already have one over in Hillsboro, which is about half hour from here, and they're building a new one in North Portland. So Amazon is going to have 3 mega facilities within a 30-minute circle right here. So Amazon, Yeah, they are anticipating, and we've already seen Amazon with their Amazon technology. They're working with the NFL, they're working with Major League Baseball, they're working with a lot of these companies with their with the Amazon technology side. So yeah, I think Amazon and Google are in a position to be the big dogs on the block.
Yeah,
How do you
they've
think?
already been targeting to take over the business that used to be only IBM.
Right.
Over the years, and they're doing a darn good job at attacking that business right now. So
Yeah. Honey and me, I did see you pop in. Welcome. Michael, you had a thought that you were about to throw in there. What was your?
Oh, sure. Yeah. What I was talking about was, even on the federal government side, that the bandwidth just isn't there right now. The way things. Well, let me rephrase that. The bandwidth is there if the if the business, whether that be the federal government or the individual business, purchases the equipment to get on the bandwidth. The backbone pipes are there to support pretty much anything we want to do right now, with really without any big problem and noticeable latency. The problem is you got to spend the money to buy the equipment, and until right now, there was no need to do that. So while and a lot of people still understand, they may see the Amazon commercials on TV and their partnerships with the NFL and some other ones. They don't realize not only is Amazon a massive retailer, but they're a massive and continuing to grow. On the technology side, they provide a lot of web services and technology for very large businesses and very small businesses. So, I mean, just like Google does as well on their platforms, they both can offer end-to-end solutions for businesses of any size. And it's really amazing that piece of Amazon is kind of under the radar to the general consumer, but it's a huge business for them. It's a huge player. On the civilian side, what I do on the civilian side, I've got about, I don't know, half a dozen or so clients that, medium to small businesses, and a lot of them use Amazon Web Services, or they have their own, or they get something from like L3 or whoever. But so the data centers are there to handle the. Oh, Jerry wants to be the big man on campus.
No, I'm playing with the button.
The data centers are there. The backbones are there. It's just that and the technologies there support. I mean, they just introduced a new interface standard this week or last week with everybody's calling it ludicrous speed. For those of you who watch Spaceballs, if you haven't watched Spaceballs, you're doing yourself a disservice. Go watch Spaceballs because it's an awesome movie. But so there's the technology pieces out there. Does that change YouTube? Really? Not really, because YouTube grows. I mean, YouTube was small and it grew. Google bought it, it grew. So they'll have the bandwidth, they'll have the server space, the storage space to handle all the videos. I think we're going to see a big boom in content creators because people are bored at home and with nothing to do, and everybody has a smartphone, so everybody can start making content. Now, how long that lasts after we, get out of this, who knows?
So let me throw this out for you guys, and I threw the link back in there. If folks want to join the panel, we got about 20-something minutes left, and so what does that look like for the end user, for us? And you just said that YouTube's not going away. YouTube, in fact, is going to expand and contract as it needs to. I think YouTube is a living, breathing thing. It morphs as it needs to, and I think YouTube, Google, I think they really understand at every level of their corporation what their business model looks like and what they want to be, and I don't even think they're hiding the fact that they want to be the world leader in the internet. So what is that? What do you guys think? And this is coming from a small channel, my channel, for example. What do you think that's going to look like for monetization down the road with small businesses now and well, in every business for that matter, I think they're going to be looking to this platform to get their message out, because right now I don't think um, that advertising dollar is going to YouTube as much as it will in the future. So what do you think that's going to look like?
Well, for me, looking at this, I mean, the one great thing is that Google, if they're good at anything, it's innovation. And the forethought that they always put into the technology side of things, they always seem to be one step ahead of the game. And I think they've always done a great job at predicting trends of where things are going to go. And not just YouTube itself, but Google themselves, with the research that they're doing, trying to get internet to every location in the world. They've had this project going for years now, of talking about putting up Wi-Fi antennas on weather balloons, even if need be, to reach rural areas where internet's not currently available. And it's that kind of willingness to dump money into a vision that really makes Google stand out in certain ways. Now, as far as the monetization, I think you're right in the fact that you're going to have an influx of content creators. But you look over history of what YouTube does and the number of content creators that actually reach that 1,000 subscriber mark to be able to become monetized isn't so much. But I think where you're really going to see is more advertisers are going to be looking to advertise on video, even more than what they have over the last year. What's your thoughts on that, Michael?
Oh, you ran off the host, Corey.
Well, my next door neighbor has decided that he's going to mow his lawn every single day now.
Well, he doesn't come to my house. Just send him here. Just send him to my house, and he can mow my lawn.
Well, that's what I thought. I ought to put a gate on the back here, and let him come on over. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe you heard me get online.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you for the segue, Corey. Even though the host wasn't paying any attention to either one of us.
I was paying. I could hear you. I could hear you. Gee, rough crowd in my own show.
Rough crowd. I'll tell you.
I get no respect.
I don't think it's going to. I'm with you, Corey. I don't think it's going to matter with the monetization part. That 1,000 subscriber, especially the 4,000 hour. Really, the 4,000 hour. The 1,000 subscriber anybody can get in a couple of days. You go hang out in a Grow channel and you're there, right? But the 4,000 hours you got to work at or pay a lot of money to some semi-shady website to get you the watch hours. But then you're nowhere, right? So I think the 4,000 hour plateau or threshold is probably going to stay that way for a while. And then, so I don't see this as affecting us as content creators as little fish in the big pond. I think we're still going to be the same. I think the pond's going to get a little bit more crowded. Obviously, it's getting more crowded now with other little fish. Those little fish are going to leave as soon as they start going back to work and get out of the house, that kind of stuff. Or they may say, well, you know what? I can take my camera with me now when I go to all these places, and I can get people to watch my videos. So we may grow, but I think we're going to stay the same. I don't think it's going to affect YouTube that much. I really don't long term, and I say midterm. 3 to 5 years. YouTube's not going to be any different than it is today, based on what's happening right now. There may be other factors that cause it to change, but I see it staying pretty stable. It's a tried and true platform, and the more if Google, like Corey said, Google, who's Google? I don't know, but
they're a new
Google,
company. They're breaking in.
Yeah, they're a new company. I'm starting. Me and Jerry are starting. And Corey, we're starting it. Invest in us now. But Google's a smart company. They take broad steps, but a lot of their broad steps they take is by buying businesses who are making the big innovative steps. They bought YouTube was its own thing. Google bought it.
Yeah.
So that's how Google does research and development on the cheap. Some other small company does it. If it looks like it's good emerging technology, then they buy them out. So, and they're going to continue to do that. And this stuff we're in right now may have caused that to quicken a little bit, because some of those smaller companies, their venture capitalists and their investors, they may not have the money to keep investing in them, so they're going to have to sell, and they'll sell low. So this actually may cause Google and Facebook along the same vein to grow out even more than they are. Expand their business model out a little bit even more.
Yeah. Real quickly, I want to say hello to RV Reviews by the Air Force guy. Welcome in.
Look at this, Air Force guy.
Yeah. Okay. Adventure RV Adventure. I just saw them pop in also, and Camper Life. It's great to have you. We got about 15 minutes left, and we're talking about the new normal and what YouTube, the platform, the internet, and all of that is like, or gonna be like. And again, just to kind of bring people full circle here. They're talking about this, that it's going to become very political, and I think Michael, we talked earlier before Corey jumped in, that everything's going to have to adapt to this new normal. The Art of RVing is in. Good to see you, Mark. But the schools and all of that, and what is the access going to look like? And I think, beyond YouTube, I think we're all saying the same thing right now, that YouTube's going to be fine, Google is going to be fine, Amazon is going to be fine. I think a lot of the Walmarts of the world are going to be fine. Mm-hmm. And what we've seen, Home Depot is going to be just fine.
Home Depot and Lowe's are making a mint right now.
Yeah, I went there yesterday to get some concrete. I'm doing a project, and they've created a whole new section of their parking lot for online pickup orders. Mm-hmm. They never had that. 3 weeks ago, right, that didn't exist. Yeah. You could go into the little box, but now they've got where they bring out a cart of lumber for you. And so I think a lot of the big companies are going to adapt. They're going to overcome this because they have the wherewithal. They've got the technology already in place to make that happen. I think the schools are learning how to do this. I live with somebody that is employed and teaches kids, and she's doing computer-based teaching now, which is a completely new thing. And our school district was, one of the last, and I don't know this for certain, but I know that they're way behind the power curve. Yeah. And they're climbing that mountain quickly because they have to. Again, school started today. Well, started back up today online. And so there's a lot of people that have to get smart real quick.
I'll tell you how we're getting innovative in the Air Force. We're quarantining our troops. New recruits coming into base training, they're quarantined for a couple of weeks but they're still doing some training, but as much as they can. But they're within their own flight. When they move out from basic training to tech school, they're quarantined again because they're going to a different base, and they're quarantined again for 2 weeks. So what we're doing, at least what I do, for those of you who don't know what I do for the Air Force, I oversee training for all the cyber-related career fields in the Air Force. I dictate the what the training they get and how they get it. That's what I do. So what we're doing is we've been shifting to an online learn at your own pace model for a long time with a lot of the cyber stuff, and we're actually going even deeper into that, where a traditional tech training school for any branch of service was you got up, you did PT in the morning, ate breakfast, showered, cleaned, go sit in the classroom for 8 hours, come back and do whatever, right? So now they're doing all those things, but they're doing it on their own at their own pace. So we're getting smarter troops in the field quicker, and because they're not sitting through stuff they already know. Jerry, right. How many times did you sit through a class? And Corey, I know you've sat through classes too, probably, that you already knew this stuff, but you had to sit through the class.
Sure, you got to punch the ticket.
Right. So you just sit there and twiddled your thumbs for 8 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever, and then you're done. Well, we're getting rid of that because it's a waste of taxpayers' money, number one, to have somebody sitting around doing that. And plus we're getting people who can, work faster And we're implementing that model even faster now with what's going on,
Right.
because we don't have a choice. And Corey, I don't know if you know this or not, but a lot of the certification exams are now going to online proctored. Prometric it very recently just started shifting. That used to be to get all the certifications that Corey was talking about on a live stream a few weeks ago, and I think I was on that live stream too. So we were kind of going back and forth. Well, you got that one, I got that one too. So that's kind of cool. We got a lot in common.
Yeah.
A lot of those you got to go sit in a classroom. Like the last certification I got was project management professional. I had to go to Prometric for 3 hours, which is a testing center. So I had to drive an hour and a half to go there. I had to empty my pockets. It's almost like you're getting you're going into I have less problems getting into the Pentagon than I had to get into this test.
I've been there.
Yeah, no watches. I mean, no watches of any kind. I mean, I have a smartwatch, but no watches of any kind. Yeah. And all this other stuff, and you can't leave. If you leave, the test is over. So you got to hold it. But now they're switching that really restrictive model where you're actually being filmed by multiple cameras, so there's no way you can cheat.
Yeah.
To an online proctoring model. So the businesses are already evolving rather quickly, almost like they knew something was going to happen, or they were planning on what we're doing is all the stuff we're doing today. We were going to be doing in 3 to 5 years.
Sure.
We're doing it now.
The Army's been using the CBT, or the computer-based training model, for a long time there. Honey and me writes, online classes have been around for a while. Yes, they have.
Yeah. I got my bachelor's degree in 2001, and I took a lot of my classes online.
Yeah. So, one of the biggest reasons that they're so slow to get school back going in the state is because the governor said, we will not do online school until everybody has access. Rather than saying, if you have access, you can continue learning and we'll catch the rest of them up, or not. The governor said it's all or nothing. And that stifled everything for a good 14 days. Finally the school district said, well, we can put laptops in every house. Every house that needs one, we can make that happen. Now it's all for nothing if they don't have internet.
Laptops are cheap. You don't need a $1,500 laptop to do schoolwork.
No, and these laptops aren't coming back either. So the taxpayers
right. But I'll tell you what's going to happen though is we're going to see an explosion in homeschooling. The homeschooling movement was already growing as it was, but this has forced a lot of people into homeschooling. We homeschooled our kids, but it's forced a lot of people into homeschooling. And I think they're going to like what they see if they have the time, obviously.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to change that dynamic as well. So it's going to be a lot of changes out there. So we may see the private schools get smaller because a lot of the people in the private schools are probably getting homeschooled now and saving that money.
Well, yeah.
And same with the public school.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. And I've been saying this, and my wife disagrees. The strongest union in the state of Oregon is the teachers union, and they're going to fight tooth and nail not to do that. But they did a straw poll last week, and 35% are saying they don't want to go back to school. And I'm talking about not the kids. The kids would vote 100%.
Yeah, that's 100%. No, there's always the one kid.
35% of the families are in favor of computer-based training, and the other percentage obviously is going to be those that need school to provide some sort of daycare, where you have both of the parents are working, and they need the kids to go somewhere during the day. Unpopular opinion. I'm sorry if I offended anybody, but reality is exactly what you said. I think there's going to be a huge shift in
Yeah,
education across our country because of this. Anyway, Corey.
there is, and you're right with that. I mean, unfortunately, K through 12 schools are the ones that have been struggling the most because there's been lack of funding over the years, and they struggle just to get grant money sometimes to get these kids devices to be able to learn on, or sometimes even just books. And I think this is going to cause a shift coming from higher up, that some funding and education needs to be put in place to allow these online classes to be more prevalent in K through 12 grades. and the technology needs to be built around them better to be able to provide that service to those kids. And like Michael said, the biggest struggle is going to be making sure those kids have internet. You know, even us here where we're at, we're centrally located in lower peninsula of Michigan, and our mental health agency handles 6 counties. And out of that 6, 4 of those counties are very hard to get internet access into. We struggled with this trying to get workers to be able to work from home. Air cards don't work. There's, no cable existent, and a lot of these people can't even get satellite internet because of where their house is located.
Yeah.
So this is where the struggle is with trying to evolve this. It will get better. I mean, especially if you are in an urban area that internet's widely available. This is going to be a huge shift for K through 12 schools.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. We got about 4.5 minutes left. So I just want to kind of start wrapping things up. I think this is a discussion that we could probably have for weeks and weeks and weeks, and probably not come up with a solution. But, I know that there's a lot of smart folks. There's at least 22 of them because they stayed with the show tonight.
Thanks, everybody.
And but I'm really curious. I'm glad you guys jumped in. I know you guys have, a good IT understanding, way more than me. I'm a good user. The fact that I actually can click the StreamYard button and get on is a miracle in and of itself.
I had to help you through that.
But I think I think we're in for some pretty interesting times ahead, and what that's going to look like. I'm curious to see how that is. Who's coming up next? Is Art of RVing in next tonight? I know he's in there. Are you in, Mark? Are you coming up next tonight? A simple yes or no would work.
Thin Blue Lane.
One of my moderators that's sitting right over here should know that.
I can't even read. I'm serious. My eyesight's so bad right now. I can't even read.
Put a link in there. So anyway, I hope everybody is staying well. I hope you're starting to find some normal. Oh, Mark is on Thursday, so he's not on tonight.
Yeah, it's Thin Blue Lane, and Shelly just dropped the link.
All right, perfect. Thin Blue Lane is next. So we're going to do a happy place raid and make Thin Blue Lane a happier guy tonight. But I do want to thank Mark and thank Corey. Thanks for popping in. I really appreciate you guys and your insights on this subject.
Yeah, who's Mark?
Did I say Mark? I said Michael. Mark. I thank Mark for coming in because I was reading his comment.
Oh, he's over here. He's in the chat. Okay.
I was reading his comment that the governor decides on online education, and that's a fact. The governor is deciding.
Yeah,
on,
for public online education, yes. For private, no. That's true.
Right, for public, anything public. So, I saw Susan pop the comment in, about funding and cuts and stuff like that. Well, again, that's a show for a whole nother night. Because
the administrators pay the teachers.
And you'll get no argument from me there. I have been kicked out of school board meetings before I got there by my wife because she knows my opinion. And she takes a paycheck from those folks. So anyway, all right, with that, we're going to go ahead and jump on over to Thin Blue Lane. Thank everybody for coming in. I appreciate you all. And remember that a happy life starts in a happy place. Thanks for spending a little bit of your Monday evening with us. And we'll see you over at the Thin Blue Lane. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
See ya.
And we'll see you guys next
Bye, everybody.
Monday.